The only freedom that exists that's left is the freedom in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the only solution is to be free here.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything else is a trap. Well, here's my philosophy. It doesn't matter when you sleep as long as you get your work done. So if you get your work done, that is all that matters. Now, it doesn't matter if you do your work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter, right? As long as you do your work, that's okay. Now, most people, I guess 99% of people,
Mm-hmm.
organize their work during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Is that practical? Well, I guess yes, because it's all organized sort of roughly at the same time. But if you look at the way the world is organized, then there's a lot of flexibility that you can bring into the idea of your work. If you want to have a meeting with somebody, it's more practical to have that meeting between, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? That if you want to have a
Mm-hmm.
meeting with somebody. Um, but you can break those rules. It's not absolutely necessary, right? You can look if you're a writer, does it matter if you do your writing from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock in the morning or from 12 o'clock midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning? It doesn't really matter when you do your work as long as you do your work.
Mm-hmm.
Different people will find different jobs working at different times. Taxi drivers have different hours from secretaries, for example. Yeah. Uh, some people will work night shifts and work through the
Mm-hmm.
night and sleep during the
Mm-hmm.
day. Um, Not everybody has the same the same hours, the same way, the same system. Some people work in shifts, and for most people, work comes first, and so they organize their work and
Mm-hmm.
then they organize their sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that there's a lot of flexibility. I think that it's if you want to be super productive, it's probably better to be awake during the hours in which it's light outside and you can be outside and get fresh air and sunlight and uh, do all of those things. Now, here's the crazy thing. If you work during the day, but you work in an office or in a building and you don't get out, you don't see the sun all day anyway, right? Especially in winter, right? If you go to work, it's dark, and you get home and it's dark, and you're inside in between,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mm-hmm.
don't see the light for 3 months of the year, yeah, except at
Mm-hmm.
the weekend or something. So, so it's better to work during the day, yes, and yet that means you don't see the sun for 3 months most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
people accept that. So okay,
Mm-hmm.
people accept that, but why you people could they could mix it up. They could change it up. It doesn't have to be that. People could work 4 hours in the morning, have a break, and work 4 hours in the afternoon or something, and have a break in the middle. They
Mm-hmm.
could have a longer break. Um, my experience is that people tend to work when they can make the most money. That also makes sense that you would do that when people are awake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, with a lot of technical things that I do in virtual reality, I have a lot of contacts and connections with people in America. The American time zone is different from the British time zone. So they're
Mm-hmm.
doing things at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning, our time. So if I want to communicate with them, I have to communicate with them at
Mm-hmm.
3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
to talk to
Mm-hmm.
them about the
Mm-hmm.
technology. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's also important to understand the world's a big place and people live in different areas and different time zones,
Mhm. Mhm.
and when it's afternoon here, it's morning over there, and
Mhm.
maybe when it's summer here, it's winter there, depending upon where we are in
Mhm.
in the world. So there are all these variable differences that exist when you can see outside of the box. And people think, oh, I can't wait until winter to go skiing. Well, you forget that half of the world can ski right now because
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
winter in
Mhm.
the other half of the world,
Mhm.
right? So you could go there if you have the time and the money. You could go there and do that there. It
Passport you must have.
yeah. You gotta have a passport. You gotta have a credit card, and you could have a mobile phone, and with those three things, you can probably.
Credit card full of money.
Um, yes, but then what is credit? Is credit money or is credit,
Mm,
is credit fantasy system of things?
mm, mm,
Yeah, it's digital, so it's fantasy.
mm.
Um, it's a system of trust because you can't build anything without trust. But you know, someone can turn off your bank account like this. That's perfect control, right?
Mm.
You you know, if I'm a well-known person and I say stand up and I say if I'm a well-known person and I have a very powerful, eloquent, and true speech about the negative side of government,
Mm.
government can just turn off everything. They can turn off my bank account. They can turn off my media systems. They can turn off the
Mhm.
electricity to my flat.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? They can turn off everything, and
Ah.
that is perfect control. Who wants perfect control? Huh? Who wants that? Perfect control is a terrible thing because all men are corrupt. All men. I've had a little bit of power and a little bit of control in my life, and I did not handle it very well. I handled it well, but I didn't handle it perfectly. And if I have that problem inside of me, imagine what
Mm.
everybody else has got, right?
Mm.
And I would be better at handling it now because we all grow up and we all learn and we all move forward and we all get better. But there are many, many, many people in this world with too much power and too much control,
Mm.
men and women, and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with it. And the truth is that sometimes it's better to do nothing with it.
Mm.
Yeah. Just don't try to influence too many people in too many ways to do too many
Mm.
things that maybe they don't want to do, and maybe you can't see the future of everything anyway. So maybe what you think is fantastic is maybe in the long term is not,
Mm.
right? Oh, the world is getting too hot. We have to do something. And then 10 years later, oh, the world is getting too cold. We have to do something. And it's like,
Mhm.
what? I mean, the longer you live, the more you smell the bullshit, right?
Mm.
You just, something's wrong, right?
Ah.
Something's wrong.
Mm.
And who messed up the world? Not the kids, the adults. The adults messed up the world
Mhm.
because we took all the responsibility away from children. Oh no, you can't be responsible for that. And then they don't have any responsibility and they don't know how to
Mm.
handle power and control when they get some power and control. It's too much for them. They don't understand. It's it's dangerous. It's unpredictably dangerous. The classic example is sport, right? Doesn't matter how much you prepare for the game, you can still lose. You can always lose. You can always lose the game. You can always lose the match. It doesn't matter how much you prepare. It's unpredictable. Yeah, it's that you prepare your car perfectly for the race. You can have an accident. You can crash. Your car can catch fire. Your engine can explode. It can rain. There's
A lot of things.
there's all of these unpredictable elements that exist because we forget that we are all corrupt, and that has to be the starting point. That has to be the starting point of every decision that we make. What is the biggest possible problem that can exist from making this decision? Well, the biggest possible problem is that you're corrupt within yourself and you don't understand what you're doing. Now, if you believe that completely and totally, you will never, and you don't learn how to deal with it, because there's a way to learn how to, you don't learn how to deal with it, you will never, ever, ever do anything. That will paralyze you. Too much one way, too much the other way. Both sides are wrong. You have to understand that every individual is powerful. Because every individual is powerful, every individual is dangerous. And then you have to learn how to control that danger. And then once you learn how to control the danger within yourself, you can then make decisions that affect your world and the world of other people around about you. The most dangerous thing in the world is a person who doesn't understand that they're dangerous and doesn't have full control over themselves. Because then you will try to control other people through controlling your own fears. You won't be confident in your own abilities. You will have a lack of confidence. You will have no confidence in your own abilities. So you will have no confidence in anyone's abilities. So you won't recognize real authority, which is real authority is control over your own dark side. That is real authority. And you can't recognize it if you haven't experienced it within yourself. Until you've played the game, you don't understand the game. And so if you've played that game and you understand it and you've dealt with it and you've fought with your own demons, you can begin to see them in other people and you can begin to make decisions because you understand where the demons are. Otherwise, you just let anybody who's anybody, that's what politics is, anybody who's anybody can have control. That's fucking crazy. Because people who have no idea about what they're doing and no self-awareness get into power and control and try to save the world. The world is fine. The problem is always me, right? The trees are fine. The water is fine. The mountains are fine. The problem is the people are not fine. That's the problem. And you have to look at your people in power, in your countries, in your governments, and decide, have these people mastered their own dark side? Because if you haven't, you're Darth Vader, right? You are the Dark Lord. If you have not mastered your own side, your own dark side controls you. And then Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader because he does not have control over his own dark side. Luke Skywalker stays and remains as Luke Skywalker because he has control over his own dark side. He understands his own dark side. And that is why he remains good. And so when we look at governments, we have to look at the people and say, does this person, does this man, does this woman have control over their own dark side? Have they
Mm.
discovered their true self, and can they manage it and control it in a way where they will provide leadership for other people? And and people are not doing that. They're just voting for whatever people say. I promise to blah 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 blah. Oh, you got my
Mhm.
vote. No, that no, that's not thinking. That's what that is. That's a lot of not thinking because you haven't analyzed carefully anything because you don't know anything because you don't know these people. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they think. You don't know where they go. You don't know what they read. You don't know where they went to school. You don't know who their friends are. You don't know if they had good parents. You don't know what their religion is. You don't know what their dreams are. And yet you don't know anything about these people.
Mm.
And you trust them? That's stupid. You know that you might as well trust a pencil, okay?
Mm.
Because you don't know anything about the pencil. It's the same thing. I don't understand why my government because you don't know the people. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the business interest. You don't know the connections. You don't know the finances. You don't know the backroom deals. You don't you don't know anything that's going
Mm.
on because 99.99% of people don't know anything that's
Mhm.
going on because the media is full of football and pop music and
Mhm.
lotteries and wars and fluff and fashion
Mhm.
and a whole TV stars and
Mm.
dancing and no talent competitions and
Mm.
it's it's nothing. It's all nothing.
Mhm. That's better.
They don't inform you, so you don't have the information, so you can't make any decisions, which is why democracy doesn't work.
Mhm.
Democracy only works when everyone is informed. At this
Mhm.
point in time in human history, nobody is informed. Nobody. Well,
No.
why do you want democracy? I mean, that's another
Mm.
really because it's just like you're still thinking we need government. You see
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
because you can't imagine
Mhm.
life without it. Oh, if we don't have democracy, we will have well, it's
Mm.
either democracy or communism. It's government, right?
Mm.
That's not you
Mhm.
know it's this flavor ice cream or this flavor ice cream. Well, what if I don't want ice cream, right? So um, it's this idea that I mean it's all great in theory. It's a great ideas, but they don't work when we don't understand basic human psychology, which fundamentally is that methodology cannot replace spirituality. We have tried to take spirituality away and bring in methodology.
Mhm.
Methodology in everything. Methodology in how we live our lives. Methodology in
Mm.
our psychology. Methodology in our education.
Mhm.
Methodology in in every process of every step of everything that we do. And method is okay, but not to replace spirituality because they're different things.
Mhm.
You need you need you need method for the the practicality of life, but you need spirituality for the practicality of understanding yourself. And you can't mix them and you can't use one where you need to use another. You just can't. It's not going to lead anybody to the right place. And and every everything is about everything is about the way, the
Mhm.
method. Everything is about the method,
Mhm.
but it's not working. It's not working. It's not. People are getting poorer in Western countries right now,
Mhm.
on average. The methodology is not working. We need more than just, the practice is not enough to win. It's not enough. It helps, but it's not
Mhm.
enough. It's not everything.
Mhm. Yeah.
You have to believe that you're going to win. You can
Mhm.
practice, 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 but if you don't believe, it doesn't mean anything. Every sports person knows that because sport is as close to psychology as most people get to understanding a spiritual approach to life. But that 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 you've got to have flow and self-belief and harmony and teamwork and all the good things to make things happen. But it people want people believe that magic exists.
Mhm.
Magic, magic. The magic of what? The magic of people? Does that
Mhm.
exist? I mean, we 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 limit ourselves so much in 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 everything that we do, and the answer is not in the organizations of people, because even if at the beginning something is good
Mhm.
and people are attracted to that thing because it's good, it always goes bad eventually. You know, the best football team in the 1980s was down here in the 1990s. You know why? Because when you're at the top, there's only one way to go,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't last because that's the example. That the example. What happened to Manchester United, the great Manchester United football team of 10 years ago? Where did they go? What happened to them? Where are they now? Um, you know, it's corrupt. Man is corrupt.
Yeah. In the sport is too a lot of uh,
Well,
corruption.
well, yes, but we should not be surprised. Why are
Mhm.
we surprised? You see, if we're surprised by it, we don't understand who we are.
I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised. Well, okay, okay, that's a good thing, but a lot of people are. A lot of people, oh, I can't believe it. How is this possible? It's like, no, you've got to understand it. We're all tempted. Somebody comes to you and says, here's money for doing whatever. It might be doing something good. It might be doing something bad. But you're always tempted. It's like, huh,
Mhm.
always.
Mhm.
We're always tempted all of the time. Huh, I could do that.
Mhm.
We're always tempted. All this. We're always looking for a better way or an easier way or a more comfortable way of doing things. We're always tempted all the time with everything. Oh well, if you just do this, then you'll get. I quite like that.
Mhm.
It's quite nice. Whether it's money or car or a house or a holiday or
Mhm.
or something else that you want, the power or control. We're all tempted all the time by things, by little, whether it's like, ooh, a little gold necklace that you could wear, or a nice watch for your wrist,
Mhm.
or a T-shirt, or a new color of lipstick, or um, we're
Anything
all,
just to
yeah,
collect.
yes, yeah, anything. We're all, marketing is great. Just look at marketing. See how we're tempted. Marketing this new great thing, whatever it is, gonna save your life, improve your life, and maybe you think maybe it will help me. Maybe I should try it, and maybe it does help. But that doesn't change the fact that we're all in this process where we're all being tempted all the time, and we have to be very careful about it because because It's it's important to say yes before saying no, but it's important to understand what we're saying yes to, and not just say yes to everything, because that's also not thinking about the future consequences of things. And and this 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 world doesn't understand that um, well we we teach people that we teach people that the most important rewards and awards are external. This is wrong.
Mhm.
People want to be loved and praised by everyone, respected by everybody around about them. It's the
Mhm.
ultimate accolade in society to be respected by everybody. But it doesn't really matter because people will lift you up and they'll pull you down.
Mhm.
And they'll pull you down faster than they lift you up
Yeah.
so that
That's
they can
wrong.
climb over you. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we to be comfortable and confident in yourself is far more important than to search for appreciation from other people. And the world is built on, oh, let's see what these people think about what you've done. Let's give you a gold star, or let's give you a number, or let's give you a couple of stripes on your arm if you're a soldier, or let's give you a better job title. Let's make you a senior vice president of whatever else. All these little things to distract you and tempt you and make you feel that what you're doing is right when it might or might not be true. It,
Mhm.
it, we don't we don't know, and it's a constant process on a daily basis for for everybody. It doesn't change, and it doesn't get easier because the better you become at managing yourself, the more difficult decisions you have to make because you've got to go to the next level constantly. When you manage yourself at one level, you've got to elevate yourself to the next level. Otherwise, you won't feel satisfied. Um, and yeah, the challenges are constant, absolutely constant. I mean,
Mhm.
the that's the you know the it's the devil tempting everybody the same way the devil tempted Jesus. Jesus was the only person ever able to resist all of the temptations. Where we're not able to resist the temptations.
Mhm.
Ooh, just one more sweet, just one more piece of chocolate, just one more glass of wine. It's really difficult to resist the constant temptation of life. It's 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 hard, and I think the only way to judge the successful navigation of life is to understand how much people have resisted temptations to do the wrong thing, because there's a lot of money put on the table for a lot of people to do a lot of things that maybe they should not do.
Mhm.
And then with this money, they think that they can buy freedom or security or forgiveness. There's no security in money. None.
Mhm.
There's none. It doesn't work like that. And it shouldn't. And if society is built on the fact that money gives you security, then society's wrong. Because then it's not predicated on being human anymore. It's predicated on the external value of a non-existent number. It's And good people always want to help good people, right? It doesn't matter about the other things. You see somebody crossing the street and they fall over, you want to go over and help them up, right? And it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter if they're man, woman, old, young,
Mm.
green, blue. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter,
Mhm.
right? The good people always want to help people, and meanwhile, the media will constantly teach you that these people are your enemy. You must not help them. They are bad. And there'll always be somebody somewhere. It's it's the Japanese, or it's the Russians, or it's the Vietnamese, or it's the Iraqis, or it's well, it's the Venezuelans, or there'll always be some crazy, or it's the people on the left, or the people on the right, or people at the top, or the people at the bottom, or you're always constantly told to to be careful and to watch out because there's people coming to to take whatever it is you've got from you. It's and that makes people paranoid, and that's the media. The media just
Mm.
makes people paranoid about by constantly pointing in the wrong direction. Yeah, which is the media's job is to make people hate each other and live in fear, and they do a
Mhm.
very good job of doing that because when you live in a mixture of hate and fear, you're very easy to control. Yeah. Well, Jesus could not be controlled.
Mhm.
Why? Because he didn't live in a state of hate and fear. He lived in a state of love and purpose. That was he was here to do his Father's work, and that was it. Right? And he could not be controlled, and so he was killed. And that was a big warning sign to people thousands of years ago that if you don't understand what is happening and protect the good things of life, then you'll lose them because you don't deserve them. Why? Because nobody deserves them. Because nobody deserves them. The one of the founding fathers of the United States, I can't remember which one. It might have been Benjamin Franklin. I'm not sure. Was asked, or it might have been Benjamin. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
he was asked, "Why is America so great?" And he said, "America is great because America is good. And if America ever ceases or stops being good, it will stop being great."
Mhm.
That's it. That's it. That was the reason, and that makes perfect sense to me. It seems perfectly logical that that was a how do you make something you take a very 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 complicated thing and
Mhm.
simplify it into something that everybody can understand. That was a great answer. Yeah. You are only truly great if you are good. And if you stop being good, you can never truly be great.